Happy Friday. I hope everyone is doing well tonight. I apologize I'm a wee bit late, but it's been a heck of a time getting things up and running here today. But we seem to be good. And I see we got a lot of folks assembled for fun and games this evening. I am, as is tradition, smoking the Matches Memorial Friday Savinelli with some Haunted Bookshop, and I just had time to get this packed and got a first light on it, but it's already out, so. And let's see who all has come to join us tonight. And I saw earlier, Kirk in Florida, buddy. I'm so sorry to hear that you're in the hospital. And if you didn't see Kirk's message, he's in the hospital with congestive heart failure. So, Kirk, we're going to be praying and thinking of you, and you're going to pull through, buddy. I know you've been in bad shape before, and we're pulling for you. So you get better, my friend. So everybody, please keep Kirk in Florida in your prayers and in your thoughts. So let's see. There's the Smooth Piper. How you doing, Peter? Todd Monson, Pirate Frog 333. How's it going, Robbie? The Urban Hermit. Hello, Everett. There's Little Piper Todd, Big Dave, Bear Wolf, and Miss Kathy. Good to see you, folks. Patrick Grant, Gary Edminster, Lord Hogarth, and Tramper Scott. Quite a lot of people here tonight. Did you all show up for the robots? I hope not. There's Flint Hill Briar, Scott Terry. Welcome from Maine there, Scott. He's got an LJ Peretti 150th anniversary flake and a Peterson Bulldog. Very nice. Piper on the 45. Glad to hear you're alive there, Robbie. Michael Case, hello. Daylight savings time is this Sunday. Your pendulum is a pain. Goodness. I see lots of folks offering up some prayers for Kirk, and that's a good thing. There's Matt P, also from Maine. We got a lot of Maine folks in here tonight. Doug Owen, how you doing, Doug? All right, so not having success keeping the old Haunted Bookshop lit tonight for some reason. By the way, I've got one of my wooden shop tampers here tonight. I didn't have a chance to replace General Gumby, and this came to hand. So I also have my oldest Zippo, my dear old friend that I've had for a very, very long time. This has been a week, I tell you. It's one of those weeks where I understand why they don't have the windows open in work, because I think there would have been some bodies flying out of windows this week. being propelled, defenestrated. I think that's the word. Not by their own choice, believe me. Just some frustrating nonsense going on. You know, I'm not complaining. I'm just conveying that it was an annoying week. It's what I'm paid for, I guess. Sometimes you feel like you're doing a job that you never thought you'd do, but such is life. But we've pulled through, and it's the weekend, so we'll put that behind us. There's Hillbilly Piper, Ford Smoking Pipes. How you doing, Johnny? Texas Piper, Eddie, good to see you. Just cracked a 2+-year-old tin of Bayou Morning Lake. Is that right? Yep, 2+. And a J. Mouton Rhodesian. Well, that sounds like a fantastic combination there, Eddie. Oh no, Everett, they're out of Haunted Bookshop again? This isn't the right time of year for that, is it? If it makes you feel any better, I found some today. Actually, yesterday. It was yesterday. I was chatting with Everett on Instagram a couple nights ago, and he said, "Oh, I guess you're smoking Haunted Bookshop," and I wasn't actually, because my big Tubbo Haunted Bookshop here had gone dry, and I was a little disturbed because I couldn't believe how quickly I went through a pound. And what I normally do is I put about half the pound in that tub, and then when it's empty, I pour the remainder of the bag in there. And it was empty. Couldn't find the bag of the half pound, so I assumed I'd smoked the whole thing. So I was smoking like odds and ends. I've got like a ridiculous number of little bags of tobacco on my desk here. And so I was pulling some of those out as I was talking to Everett, and he said, "Oh, you don't have it?" Yeah, it's over there. I'm just too lazy to get it. So anyway, yesterday I said, "Well, enough of this. I'm going to be less lazy. I'm going to go get the..." And sitting on top of the big stack of Haunted Bookshop was an open pouch that was half gone. So I had just moved it over there, and yeah, I found it. But I'm sure they'll have it back someday, Everett. Don't worry. Yes, Ford, the drought came early this season. Trivia question from Doug Owen. Robert Blake passed away this week. What was his first role in a major motion picture? Ugh. I'm not sure. I do not know that one. 10 more days to spring indeed, Smarty Bob. That's a good thing. There's Dry Fly Fisher 11, Matt P. Good to see you guys. There's Sailor, having some shandy gaff and a Rhodesian. Good stuff. Well, I'm just trying to see if I missed anybody, but if I did, we'll catch up. Wait, I missed the answer. Lord Hogarth got the answer. Oh, son of a gun. I'm going to have to watch the replay to get the answer to Doug's trivia question. Couch. How you doing, Couch? And there's Stanley Smith. Good to see you, Stanley. Ilva has a big day on Monday. She'll be put under for x-rays on her knee. Oh, gosh, Couch. Well, we'll all be thinking of Ilva. Ilva's Couch's wonder dog, my god dogged her. And we'll be thinking of her and hoping for the best there. She apparently blew out her knee, and I don't know what are they doing, Couch? Is this just like a ligament repair thing, or is she getting like a bionic knee? There's Highland Duncan. Good evening to you. The occasional Clay Piper. Good to see you tonight. A lot of new folks tonight, which is wonderful. great to see that. Always happy to have some new perspectives. Hopefully a few new jokes. No offense, Doug. I like your jokes. So, speaking of jokes, you probably heard about this AI chat thing that all the kids are using, and I was playing with it a little bit myself. I think oh, you saw. Well, it was the song. It wasn't the chat thing. But anyway, I had to write a poem about Haunted Bookshop, which was kind of silly. I had to do it in Shakespearean sonnet form. Wasn't terrible. Wasn't good, but it wasn't terrible considering it was a artificial intelligence generated thing. Ah, okay, Doug. Gotcha. That was Robert. Wow, I never would have guessed that. There's Phil Rivera. How you doing, Phil? Implants in her knee and all that jazz. Oh man, poor couch. Poor Elva. Ah, she's not stupid. I'm sure she was trying to do something quite reasonable when it happened. There's Kevin Doolin with some McBarry Golden Extra. He's trying it to see if he wants to buy some during the sale. That's a good deal. Flint Hill Briar is not new, just going by a new channel name. Okay, well, welcome anyway, Flint Hill. There's Pensive Piper. Good evening to you, sir. Ah, now I got to regain my train of thought. Oh, jokes. So, if you want to have fun with this ChatGPT thing, ask it to tell you a joke. Ask it to write a joke about a pipe smoker. They are horrible. Those are some of the worst jokes. I mean, they're not even bad jokes. They just sometimes don't make sense, but they're written in a style where you expect. It's weird because they're well written, well constructed. They're just not. There's no humor in them, and you almost feel a letdown after you read it because it's like, well, this should have been funny. What's wrong? And maybe I didn't get it, but no, it's just really bad. A lot of fun though. So we got Phil and Everett, both Heckle and Jekyll are here tonight. Don't ask. Too many of the wrong pipe smokers. It may be, Flannel. It may be. But, you know, I would ask it to, well, you know what, just for fun, give me a topic for a joke and I'll run one. It doesn't have a funny bone for it. Just pick a, you know, like a joke about a penguin and a bar or whatever. Write me a joke about, what do you want? Lost in the 50s wants a skeleton walking into a bar wanting a beer and a mop. Okay, that's a little overly specific for the AI, but we'll try it. Skeleton walking into a bar asking for a beer and a mop. I'm only going to do one of these just to give you an idea of how it works. Assuming it works. Uh-oh. An error occurred. It seems to have, it doesn't like your submission, Lost in the 50s. That's weird. We'll copy it and we'll reload. I promise we will not do this more than one, but I'd like to get it to work once. That is the joke, that it didn't work. Or the joke is that the penguin's looking for a beer in a... Oh, the beer in the mop. I get it, Lost in the 50s. I'm a little slow tonight. All right, instead of that, we'll default to a priest and a rabbi and a penguin walking into a bar from Flint Hill. Let's see. Write a joke. Oh, spell check changed joke to journal. Write a journal. Write a joke about a priest, a rabbi, and a penguin walking into a bar. Is this as gripping as I think it is? Is this top-notch viewership here? It's just so bad. A priest, a rabbi, and a penguin walk into a bar. The bartender looks at them and says, "What? This is actually funny." I'm sorry. This is actually a real joke. A priest, a rabbi, and a penguin walk into a bar. The bartender looks at them and says, "What is this, a joke?" Oh no, Doug, we're not going to tell the grape joke again. There's Big Country Briar. Hello there, Cole. Who else do we got here? Ghost Cobb, how you doing, Sean? Good to see you. The YTPC broke the AI. I think we could do that, Couch. I think we could. Pirate Frog, sorry to hear that. So Pirate Frog's having some heart troubles too. If you came in late, our buddy Kirk in Florida is in the hospital right now with congestive heart failure. So he needs prayers and thoughts. And Robbie Pirate Frog 333, I know you've had a long-standing issue there, and I hope that gets under control for you. Hope you're feeling better soon. Doug Owen wants to know, maybe the penguin is... Am I sure the penguin is not a nun? I'm not sure. Got any nails, Gary Edminster? Anyway, a lot of the jokes, I mean, that one was actually funny. Well, as funny as you can get with such a joke, but a lot of them were like, you know, why don't dogs smoke pipes? Because they're canine, you know, or something like that. It just, and again, it's like, is there something about the way the word's pronounced, or am I missing some pun, some double entendre? But no, it's just, it doesn't have a sense of humor. Oh, okay, Pirate Frog. Okay, but just annoyed. Gotcha. Well, we don't want you to be annoyed either. So whether you, if the prayers and thoughts annoy you, Robbie, sorry. Flint Hill Briar has finished a dottle-free Northwood smoke. Amazing. Phil, what is it that, what do you need to stock up on? I'm just curious about who filed Chapter 11. That's terrible. A penguin walked into a bar and asked the bartender, "Hey, you seen my brother?" The bartender says, "I don't know. What's he look like?" Yeah, Big Dave, I know. I had a lot of penguins in my formative years. Oh yeah, Bayou Morning Flake is a good vapor indeed, Eddie. Albuterol, really, Phil? Wow. That is generic, so I guess one of the... that surprises me. Well, hopefully somebody will pick that up. Oh, I'd love to see that, Doug. I know the dogs playing pool with the cigars. I've never seen one with the pipe. That would be great. Tobacco Pipes International. How you doing, Mark? Good to see you tonight. I agree with you, Lord Hogarth. The Northwoods is not my one of my favorite blends. Not because of a lot of key, actually, but because of the sweetness, and it's probably the Cavendish. But I know a lot of folks do love it. There's our buddy Mushroom Leg. How you doing, my friend? And Yornik, good to see you. Todd Monson, what did the elephant say to the naked man? You can all read that in the chat for yourself. Because if I finish that joke, I'm going to have to tell my seal that has a flat tire joke that I'm not going to tell. So. Good to see you too, buddy. So we are, me and the dogs are having another bachelor week here. The wife is in Pittsburgh. She left on Tuesday, I believe. Monday, maybe. And she's coming back, I think, Thursday. So she'll be gone, yeah, a week and a half or so. Oh no, Big Dave, I was eating ice cream. I'm glad you know that one. It always makes me laugh, but I can't tell it. Oh, Phil. Yeah, read Phil's Nuns and 7-Up joke too. Robbie says he's really been enjoying Bob's Chocolate Flake. I've heard a lot of good things about that. I've got a tin of it. Someday I'll try it. Ah, yes, Yornik. That doesn't work so well. But you're right, the caffeine helps a lot when you have a headache. The combination of the caffeine and aspirin would be even better, but ibuprofen should help. Can help a lot, but yeah, if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, it's probably not the best thing. Yes, Everett, it is crooner time. I've got it right. Is that it? Nope, that's not it. Hey, it's over here somewhere. By the way, having some more Seagrams tonight. Nothing fancy. There's a crooner. We'll have that when the Haunted Bookshop runs out here. Yeah, she was supposed to go back for Easter, and she might still, but she was saying that, you know, since she's there now, it doesn't make sense to head straight back at Easter. And I'm like, darn it, woman, that's not enough time to finish all this crooner. Yes, Todd, I am definitely thinking about a pipe tune-up service. Definitely moving in that direction. It's just a matter of having the time to update the website and actually kick it off. So that will be coming soon. I want to actually put together a video describing what a pipe tune-up is, and that's kind of been the holdup. But we will get there. And I tell you, the more I try to make time, the more work seems to be eating it up these days. I'm going to have to spend a good chunk of the weekend doing day job work this week. Kevin Doolin says Golden Extra is not doing it for him. Getting bitey and needs relights. Yeah. Well, at least you know before you stock up, right? Yeah, Big Dave, I do still smoke Mixture 79, not that often, but I've got a tub of it back behind me that you can't see. Yeah, I'm gonna move the camera. There, maybe you can see the tobacco up there. It's on a second shelf that I moved everything up there. Nah, Gary, I don't want to lock her out. But if I did, this would be the time. Ah, it's Mrs. Yornick. Okay, Yornick is sleeping. Gotcha. Couch just opened a tin of Cornell and Deal Gates of Light, and Love says, "I don't know what that is." Couch, is that a limited release or what is it? Yeah, Sailor, I agree with you with Excedrin. The other one was Anacin, I believe, had caffeine in it, and we can't find it anymore. It seems like quite a few things disappeared during the whole pandemic and just never came back. And one of them was Anacin, and I assume Excedrin as well. Another one was Pepsodent toothpaste for some reason. I don't know. Yeah, Doug's pointing out that McBaron is notoriously bitey, and I certainly have had that experience. I really don't smoke any McBaron product, except for their H&H series, their HH series. Matt P says he lets it dry out. That might help. Yurnix noting that she would be a very bad spy. Well, not much call for spies these days, or is there? Stanley Smith smoked his first English this week. What did you think of it, Stanley? This will be interesting. I don't know that we've ever had someone that just smoked their first English. Pirate Frog has been trying to track down a sample of Esoterica Woodbridge. I don't think I've ever had that. I know I don't have it, but I don't think I've ever even tried it. Really, Couch? Been around? Well, I'm going to have to look into that. I never heard of it. But you know how C&D is. They've got so darn many blends. Kaju Jim, I swear we bought Anacin just like in 2019. So it's not that old. I'm certain we did. Because I remember my wife and I going out to look for it when the bottle ran out. Kevin is asking, besides Carter Hall, what other codger blends would I recommend for a fellow Burley Virginia lover? trying to round off his cellar. So the one that immediately comes to mind, one that I really like, is Sir Walter Raleigh, which I believe they're still making. Haven't had it in a while, but and I don't know anything about, there's aromatic blends and stuff that Sir Walter makes, but the one I'm thinking of is just the original Sir Walter Raleigh. I like that one a lot. It's very clean, pure tobacco, lots of burley. The other one that folks talk about a lot is Granger, but I can't smoke Granger. It smokes too hot for me. Ford hasn't seen Anderson in years. Okay, maybe I'm older than I think, and maybe I'm getting to that point in life where I don't remember things so good. Prince Albert's another good one, Todd. Sailor gets tongue bite just hearing the name McBaron's, yeah. All right, Flint Hill's only 44 and he remembers Anderson. Hey, Andrew Sorigliano, how you doing, buddy? Yornik says visions of Salafius. I can't pronounce it even if I can see it. I'm not going to put my glasses on because I know what you're talking about. It's one of the Cornell and Deal Old One series, or the Lovecraft inspired series. So that is amazing. I haven't had that one because I heard it's grape flavored. So I try to avoid grape flavored things, but no, Phil, you don't want to confuse those. Thank you, Todd. Amazon has Anderson. There you go. We're not allowed to buy things from Amazon sometimes. I don't know what the rules are, but my wife has these rules, and for whatever reason, Anderson, aspirin, can't buy it from Amazon. Armchair Piper, how you doing, Ed? Good to see you tonight. Ah, so Stanley Smith likes the English. Best new smoke he's had. Fantastic. Patrick Grant remembers Anderson. There's a vote for half and half from Pirate Frog and Couches off to walk the dingo. I lost. What happened to Couch? Oh, there he is. Oh, he's got the live. So just so you know, as Couch is walking over, we are right next to his butt. Isn't that nice? Michael K. Sanderson and any other with aspirin not in the title may fall out of favor due to the possible fear of Reye syndrome in kids. Yeah, but that's been around a long time, Michael. I mean, I remember Reye syndrome when I was in grade school. That was a thing. So I don't know. I don't know if that's going to have much of an impact these days. And, most of the, the ibuprofens, the naproxen, they shouldn't carry that risk. Okay, so York says it's not grape flavored. Sorry, Mrs. York says it's not grape flavored. It's wine and spice flavored. Wine, grape, There are some. I used to really like the Peretti. What was it called? Scottish flake, which was like a red wine infused Virginia flake. That was definitely It was a McBaron blend because it disappeared. Not McBaron, McClellan blend because it disappeared when McClellan went out of business. And I think it was just that McClellan accidentally bought a bunch of red wine vinegar instead of their standard vinegar to put into the tobacco, and that's how they got that. I say these things sometimes just to aggravate people that are fans of McClellan. Kind of like, I don't know if you saw my video last Sunday, but I referred to And I did it on purpose. I wanted to see if I could get a rise out of people. I referred to Escudo as the McDonald's of vapors. And a few people didn't like it. Contact, Codger Jim. Now you're dating yourself. Yes. Was Contact was the one with the time release capsules? It would have all the little colored balls inside the clear capsule. And the jingle was take your Contact, take it now, give your cold to Contact. Things like that take up valuable space in my head. Contact was a problem for folks with high blood pressure. I know there were a lot of, I don't know if they're still on the market, but there were quite a few cold medications that you had to watch if you had high blood pressure. Michael Case, I'm drinking, what am I drinking? Seagram's whiskey, VO. Big Dave says Newminster 23 Blackberry Brandy is good tobacco. And Stanley Smith is moving on to Old Dark Fired next week. Fantastic. Patrick Grant is going to be having Tinderbox Philosopher in his 1921 Camoy Dublin. Nice. That's true, Gary. You will never smoke all the different tobaccos. Yep. And I don't want to smoke all the different tobaccos. But you know what I have to do? If I ever get through... I've got so much tobacco on this desk, it's embarrassing. I cleaned it, this is probably 6 months ago, I cleaned it, and I think there was like 24 different tobaccos there. And it's not that I'm smoking them, I'm smoking Haunted Bookshop 90% of the time. So they just accumulate, and I got to do something about that. Maybe I'll have a big giveaway where you just get a random bag of tobacco pouches. But I've got all these tins that I'm never going to smoke if I don't start smoking them. And, you know, some of them are good things. Some of them are stuff I've never had, and it would be kind of interesting to talk about them and, you know, try them. And some of them are still available. Some of them are things of the past. But I'm never going to get to them at this rate. You can still get Contact online, really, Patrick? My wife probably wouldn't let me. Remember methylate? Mom would treat cuts with it. Hurt more than the cut. Methylate. I don't remember that, Todd. I remember mercurochrome. And there was something called... Oh, what the heck was it? Fletcher's something? Castoria? Does that ring any bells? Yes, Phil, if the last time you heard Contact was starting an aircraft, you probably are a little bit up in years. Ward's been stuck on a plain mixing Virginia kick for 2 weeks. Wow. That would be very unusual for me, Ford. And I think it's unusual for you, from what I know. Hey, Codger Jim, you got to keep your priorities straight. You don't need those clothes. You need the tobacco storage. That orange stuff, that might have been the mercurochrome, which I'm sure they don't sell anymore. Yeah, I think the red or orange stuff was mercurochrome, which would have been a mercury salt of some sort. But this, I kind of remember this Fletcher's. It was a blue bottle, but I'm going way back now. Fletcher's is a laxative for kids. Okay, then that's not what I'm thinking of. It must be something else. Oh, what the heck was it? That's right. Fletcher's Castoria is a laxative. Of course, Michael. Thank you. It'll come to me. Jim PM, happy Friday to you, buddy. It's got a bent pot sporting the good Golden Extra Burley. So we got a Golden Extra fan. We were just talking about Golden Extra, Jim. Yes, out of character indeed. Yes, you're right, Doug. It was definitely a castor oil-based product. Now that I think of it, I wish I could remember what I'm trying to remember here. It'll come to me. Okay, so Ford's saying the orange stuff was iodine based, and now Flint Hill is saying that the mercurochrome was red and the iodine tincture is a brownish orange. So, okay, we're getting the two things confused here. Yeah, Mrs. Yernick, us kids and our newfangled medicine. Oh, a weekly dose of Fletcher's. Poor Jim PM, that can't have been good. Pipe Appeal, good to see you. Yeah, Patrick. It's funny, I mean, I had so much mercurochrome on me as a kid, and I played with mercury. I actually had my grandfather gave me a bottle of mercury as a toy. I would roll it from hand to hand. So I don't know why I mean, I guess it's a good thing not to have a bunch of mercury around, but I don't know. No, Ipecac, that was to stop you from puking, Phil, if I recall. Or maybe it was to make you puke. I can't remember. But no, the stuff I'm thinking of was a topical, like you'd put on a cut or a scrape or something. Now we're going through all the old time Bactine. That's a good one. That's not what I'm thinking of, though. Milk of magnesia. My goodness. The castor oil seed is stand by me. The great Pucarama. Orange betadine at the hospital, says Flint Hill. Carter's Little Liver Pills. Ah, I remember commercials for those, Michael. I have no idea what they were. Oh, God, Phil. Yeah, some of those Chinese herbalists, there's some odd stuff. I go to a chiropractor and they have a book of Chinese medicine that I flip through sometimes when I'm waiting, and the recipes are just bizarre. And it's things like worm castings, mud, yeah. No, it wasn't methylene blue. It was in a blue bottle. Vicks Vapor Rub on the chest. Yes, indeed, Lord Hogarth. I used to get it on the chest, and there was also, when I was really young, my mom used to soak a handkerchief in warm water, hot water, really. And she put the Vapor Rub on, and then for some reason the handkerchief went around my throat, and I went to sleep when I had a cold. Felt really good until the handkerchief lost its heat, and then I just had a wet rag on my throat all night. The more I try to think of what the name of this stuff was, the harder it's and things are coming to mind like compound W, which I know wasn't the right thing. That was, you put that on warts to make warts go away. God only knows what compound W was. Codger Jim thinks Listerine was actually Mr. Clean. Oh, that's interesting, Michael. So in the morning you got an alcohol rub down to get rid of the Vicks. That was probably bracing. There's Lurker Troy and Ron Hardcrackers. How you folks doing? Bactine was ouchless, yes. Yeah, it makes sense that it was salicylic acid, Clint Hill. I mean, I think even modern wart remover is salicylic acid. Oh, they still sell compound W. Interesting. Yes, Sailor. Compound V failed in phase 2. Strawberries contain salicylic acid. They're a tooth whitener? Really? Ford, have a good night, my friend. I know 4 a.m. comes early. Don't work too hard. MacArthur Cobb. I have one of those and I've never smoked it. I keep threatening my wife, like if we're going out somewhere and I say, do you mind if I take a pipe? Because she drives, so I'm just nice. And, you know, and she always says no. She doesn't mind. And then I'll take out the MacArthur Cobb and, you know, put that down. She doesn't let me take that. She doesn't let me take the big gourd calabash. But anything else is okay. No, this was not mentholated, Michael. Gosh, I wish I could. You know what? I'm going to call a friend. Because this is bothering me. And my wife would know. But she might not answer the phone. You all want to talk to her? She'll probably hang up on me if I try to put it on. No pipe appeal. I have not had the original Carter Hall. Hi, darling. I'm live on YouTube right now, and I got a question for you. Oh, they can't hear you, but do you do you remember we were talking about stuff that we would put on cuts and burns and stuff, and you said your grandmother always had a bottle of it? Campho-phenique. Thank you. It was driving me crazy. That's all we needed. Miracle stuff. Okay. Thank you. You solved the mystery. Will do. Love you. Bye. Campho-phenique. That's what I was trying to think of. And given that name, maybe it is a little mentholated. I don't remember it being that way, but you can hear sort of. Well, then you didn't hear her yelling at me, so that's a good thing. Paregoric, yes, that was around. I vaguely remember my grandmother talking about paregoric. Campho on Chigger Bite, says Codger Jim. Not surprised, Doug. Doug says that MacArthur only used the cobs for photo ops, and I'm betting he did it. He had that extra large one. I believe he commissioned that, and I'm sure it was done for effect rather than because he liked smoking them. It was a theatrical thing. Flint Hill has some Campho-phenique. Is it still made, Flint Hill, or do you just have some from the old days? Oh, Ron, that is horrible. The moral of the story is never put on preparation H in the dark. Yeah, but phenol makes sense, Michael. There's actually quite a few things. You know, Carmex lip balm, if you use that, is phenol based. Camphor oil and alcohol makes Campho-phenique. Interesting, sailor. Never got the hot oil eardrops, Jim PM, but I did hear about them. I remember other kids getting them. Patrick remembers Campho-phenique too. I remember the jingle for that as well. It was Stop Hurting, Start Healing with... There was a brand name. Templeton Campho-phenique? Something like that. Henderson Campho-phenique? Again, valuable space up here. Turpentine was good for gout. That is interesting. There's Smooth Piper. Oh, that's a cool story, Doug. Briefly met MacArthur when he was reviewing the troops. MacArthur stopped and asked him if he was getting enough to eat, and of course he replied, "Yes, sir." That's the right thing to say in that situation. Betty Ford was nipping Campho-phenique? Really, Lord Hogarth? Wow. Old cob smokers don't die, they just fade away. There you go, Flint Hill. You call jingles earworms? Okay, Codger Jim, I'll try not to do it. Yeah, Smarty Bob, I think people still do use Preparation H to get rid of wrinkles around their eyes. As odd as that sounds, I think that's not uncommon. Of course, now they got that, oh, what is that stuff that they're always advertising on MeTV? Plexiderm. I hate those commercials. They pick some of the most unattractive people on the planet and they put this stuff on them, and it does appear to make the wrinkles go away, but it leaves them like with this greasy, glowing face. I really hate those commercials. Oh, Doug, he said dab the turpentine on your foot for gout. He didn't say to drink it. Don't anybody drink turpentine. Oh, Couch is back, so we're no longer on Couch's butt. Yeah, it's cold out there tonight. I'm sure it's colder where you are. I'm done with the haunted bookshop. So I am going to smoke some crooner. Make sure the phone is actually hung up. And I'm going to smoke some crooner, but to sort of counterbalance it, I'm going to smoke it in the Nirb that my wife bought for me. So I don't know if that makes it better or worse, but we will see. Old chemists don't die, they just reach equilibrium. Oh God, Flint Hill, that's bad. Pipe time. I'm sorry I made you feel old there, but I don't remember what it was that I remember my grandmother talking about, but no need to feel old. Maybe I just had a very modern mom and dad when it came to medication. Oh God. Yeah, I can imagine the wife would be roaring with laughter there, Ron. I can tell you a funny story about, it's a lab story, but about a guy that created some chemical burns that surprised him. Oh, Michael, that's terrible. Once brushed his teeth in the dark with his cat's fish-flavored hairball paste. Why are all you people doing this stuff in the dark? Turn on the light. I mean, okay, I can imagine a scenario where I might brush my teeth in the dark, but I don't understand the preparation H in the dark thing. That's heroics that are not necessary. Okay, so it was when they were trying to get Betty to kick the booze that she resorted to mouthwash and such. That's a shame. So when I was a graduate student, there was a Japanese, well, first off, I had a friend who was a female my age, so she was in her late 20s, I suppose. And she worked in a lab, and we all worked pretty late at night, just because that's what you did. The professors would go home at 5 o'clock, and we would be working until 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, and then we'd be back the next morning. It was a wonderful life because you just worked, and it wasn't like hard work. It was stuff you were interested in doing. So it was a really interesting time. So anyway, she worked in this lab where there was a postdoc who was from Japan, and he was a traditional Japanese gentleman, and he would not make eye contact with her. He couldn't. He just couldn't make eye contact with a woman. He would look down when he talked to her, and very nice guy, very quiet. He would he would mumble a lot. It was hard to understand him. Not because his English was necessarily bad; it wasn't great, but because he wouldn't look at you, especially if you were a woman. He wouldn't look at you, and he mumbled. He spoke very quietly. So they were doing some work using capsaicin. Now, if you don't know, the stuff that makes chili peppers and all of your hot peppers hot is capsaicin, and you probably know this is used in pain creams and stuff. It actually kills nerve fibers, which is why it works to get rid of pain. It actually kills off the what are called C fibers that carry the pain signals. I know this is a lot more information than you need, but it's important. They were doing some research where they were using capsaicin to kill off some certain nerve fibers. And this Japanese postdoc was working late one night, and he was weighing some out, and he didn't realize that he got it on his hand. And then he went and used the men's room. This stuff really this is concentrated pure capsaicin. So this is not like any ghost pepper you've ever tried or anything. This is, this is 100% nothing but. And, he went to use the urinal, and I unfortunately wasn't there for this. I would have loved to have seen this. She's getting ready to leave for the night, and she goes out in the hallway, and this mild-mannered Japanese gentleman that would not look her in the eye comes running down the hallway towards her. He didn't know what happened. He didn't understand what had happened. He's running down the hallway towards her. At night, they're like the only two people in the hallway, pointing to his crotch, screaming, "Hot, hot, hot." It must have killed him to do it, but she eventually figured out what had happened and explained it to him, and I don't know, I guess he went and rinsed off or something. I have no idea what he did. I don't know, it might have just been that you had to know these people to get the humor in this, but it still makes me laugh. Oh, Ron, apologize to your wife for me. The penguin jokes were, well, yeah. Yeah, it's a great story. And I've got a lot of stories from that time in my life. Unfortunately, most of them I cannot tell to anyone. Did anyone try to eat a whole bunch of orange baby aspirins when they were younger? St. Joseph's baby aspirins were delicious. I used to think about crushing them and making Kool-Aid out of them. I don't think I ever ate a bunch of them, though. Everett. That is well done, Andrew, yes. Yeah, orange Tic Tacs. That's exactly what they tasted like, Cole. Oh, thank you, Puny Pipe Man. Yeah, folks, if you wouldn't mind clicking that like button, it does help us. Helps get the word out. Yeah, Flint Hill. I don't know what it was about that time in my life and the other folks that I was in the program with, but I guess we just didn't really. We were all away from family. We were all in this very intensive training program, so we didn't have a social life really other than interacting with one another. And we didn't really care about anything other than the work we were doing. And when we weren't doing that, we, would do what people that age would do, which is go out and drink a lot and occasionally watch some football or something. But those were good times. Ooh, yeah, olive juice does not make a good grape juice substitute, Doug. Oh boy, Phil, that must have been quite a day. Those chocolates were not. That's that's worse than the experience that I think most of us have had, which is that when we're little kids and we find the baker's chocolate and think we've hit gold. Mrs. Yorna going with Gray Ghost in a Cob. Fantastic. I love Gray Ghost. Thank you, Armchair Piper. Hit the like button or you won't go to heaven. Oh, AIDS Diet Chocolates. Yes, I remember those, Michael. My mom always had those in the fridge. They clearly didn't work. It was quite a scam. Uh, Not that my mom was, obese or anything, but she was one of those people that was always trying to lose 10 or 15 pounds. And that was one of the things that she just seemed to always have around. And I was a fat little kid, so my grandmother would tell me to eat them. And they were not very good chocolates. Chewy, if I remember. Captain Black Olive. uh, Ah, the smooth Piper Peter's loading up some HGL in his Nording freehand. Wonderful. I do enjoy this crooner. But I have to admit, I'm kind of glad that it's not something I can smoke all the time. I don't think I'd enjoy it as much. Yeah, AIDS wouldn't have been a good name brand there in the certainly mid to late 80s. Your mom got worried, Lord Hogarth? That's funny. Were they spelled with a Y, Michael? I don't remember. That would at least maybe they foresaw the whole the whole problem with I don't know. Oh, Lane Limit is on sale at Pipes and Cigars, and you can get a branded jar for $10. Nice. There's a couple of Lane blends I like. I wish they would bring back number 10 Downing Street. I talked to Russellette about that years ago, and he was interested in trying to get them to do it, but I guess it didn't go anywhere. Gary smoked Captain Black by the pound. I did too back in the day, Gary. Can't do it anymore. Don't know how I did it. Yes, Doug, I know that story about HGL. Herman G. Lane was the owner of Lane, and he used to like to smoke a lot of Kia blends. And I didn't know it was his wife. I thought it was actually the office girls that didn't like the smell of a lot of Kia. But regardless, women, you know. So he mixed a lot of Kia with Captain Black, and that's where HDL came from. Yeah. Okay, Lord Hogarth is confirming what Michael Case told us, that it was spelled AYDS. Still probably not going to fly. Kevin Doolin is asking if Lane 1Q is a vanilla aromatic. I don't know what Lane 1Q is. I think people claim it's a vanilla aromatic. I can't smoke it. It doesn't taste like anything to me. Anything good. Oh yeah, Herbal Life. They're still selling that stuff. Sailor smoked Borkum Riff as an undergrad. Yeah, I did Captain Black. I had a friend that smoked Borkum Riff, and I believe still does. I haven't seen him in probably 10 years, but the last time I ran into him, he was still smoking Borkum Riff. Mrs. Yornick says she used to smoke 2 packs of Petey Stoy a day. I don't know what that is, but I guess it can't always be worse. It does sound like a good story for People magazine, Doug. It does. Yeah, 1Q is the best-selling blend in the world. I do not get best-selling bulk blend in the world. I don't get that. Yeah, Cole, I don't think that loses its goop. I don't think you can get rid of that in 15 years. Keyboard Piper gets more of a caramel toasted marshmallow flavor from 1Q. Now, I've heard people talk about the marshmallow flavor. I just get a bland chemical flavoring from it, and that's my weird palate. Don't ever listen to me when it comes to aromatics, because I cannot taste the aromatic flavorings if they're chemical based. There you go, Doug. 50 cents pouch of Borkum Riff and a 75-cent cob got him through college with cheap scotch. Yeah. I remember smoking the, oh, what were they? Actually, they were little Captain Black cigars that I used to get fairly cheap. And what were the other cigars that we used to smoke? It wasn't Black and Mild or whatever those are. It was another brand of those thin machine-made cigarillos, and of course the White Owls and things like that. I didn't really get into pipes until much later, but started off with really cheap cigars. Right, Andrew. Right. I mean, when I was in college, anything that had the word beer on it, I would drink. Um, it wouldn't even have to necessarily be spelled with two E's. I don't know what that means, but I think you're right, Artie. I think if you only had one tobacco, you'd probably be able to learn to like it. Um, I think you're right about that. Because for a while I thought, what did they do to Captain Black that I can't smoke it now? But I think it's me. Swisher Sweets, yes, yes, Texas Piper. I'm pretty certain that was it. Yeah, there were Philly Blunts for sure, Cole. Now, I didn't smoke backwoods until much later. I like backwoods. I still occasionally get those. They're very much in that, what are they called? The dark fired Toscano type Italian cigars. And there's Spanish ones that are similar. White Owls, yeah, they weren't good, Everett, but they were something. Wine flavored tipped black and milds were Texas Piper's first smoke. Wow. I don't know what my first was. Um, I'm really not sure. It was one of those cheap cigars. I'm sure about that. I just don't know which one it was. Backwoods does make pipe tobacco, Michael. I've never tried it. Yeah, that's the slogan for the White Owls. They're not good, but they're something. Okay, Smooth Piper likes the backwoods. They're a good, like, short commute kind of smoke. Lord Hogarth's first was Troost Cavendish. Wow. Yeah, Artie, you're right. Your tastes do change, and I know a lot of folks that did what you just described. You switch over to the diet soda, and after a while, you can't drink the regular because it's just too sweet. Habitamp, yeah, I remember those too, Michael. Artie, by the way, I was thinking of you tonight, buddy. Uh, you'll see at the end, I make I make the little bumper that's the intro picture at the beginning of the show. I make that tonight for next week, and then it shows up at the end of the show. And I always try to put something odd into that. I don't put a heck of a lot of thought into it, but sometimes I do. And tonight I was all ready to put in quotes, "Hello, ball." And I thought, Artie's probably going to be the only guy that gets that. And then I realized that next Friday is actually St. Patrick's Day, so I changed it to something St. Patrick's Day related. And I suppose we're going to have to do something Irish. Yeah, Cole, I've got a batch of cob stems in the works right now. They're going to be one of two purples. They're looking blue on my screen here, so I don't know if you can see that they are actually purple. I got, how many of these do I have? I got 7 of them, but 3 of them are spoken for. I'm actually making 3 of them for someone, and then I figured while I'm doing it, I might as well make a batch of them. So they'll turn up eventually. I remember those wooden tips, Gary. Uh-oh, Isabel's barking at me. Isabel, be good. Be a good girl. Her and Thatcher are up there alone with the Hallmark Channel on. It's crazy, but my wife goes, well, first off, she has it on all the time, so I think just they're used to the sort of tempo of it. So when I go to work or anything, I put it on, and they seem much calmer. If I don't put it on, they're a little funny when I get home, because they're just not used to being alone. But I don't watch TV. I really don't. I watch Netflix or I watch YouTube. So if I go upstairs and decide to watch something, I switch over to that. And then when I go to bed, it turns off. And when I go to work in the morning, I put it back to the TV, and there's the Hallmark Channel ready for them. So my wife will come home and think I've been watching Hallmark Channel all week, but I'm not. So any thoughts on what we should do next week for St. Patrick's Day? They were geniuses, Doug. Absolutely. Parodi, yes, Sailor. I've had quite a few parodi. First parodi I ever smoked was in Florence, in Italy, and loved them, and then was quite surprised to find that quite happily surprised to find that I could buy them in the drugstore here. I just never had looked. So those of you that know me know my last name is Italian and all that, but I do have a lot of Irish blood in me. And my grandmother, who was very influential in my formative years, was fiercely Irish. So I'm required to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. It is Friday, isn't it? 17th, right? Today's the 10th. Yeah, I'm pretty certain it's Friday. But I'm also allowed to say things like this. So given it's St. Patrick's Day, should we just drink a lot and have a fight? I'm allowed to say that. Mrs. Yornick's coming in with drink, fight, and wear green. There you go. Michael Case just got a giant Rop cherry pipe, large bowl, 6-inch wooden stem, all in bark, and a 3-inch hard rubber stem, on that, a 45-degree angle. Wow, that sounds nice, Michael. Could have a Canadian leprechaun call in. That's a good idea, Cole. Maybe we should see if we can get the Lucky Charms leprechaun to join us. Everett suggesting we all smoke Warhorse Green Plug. Patrick's going to have his St. Patrick's Day pipe. Bangers and mash and green beer. We could give it a try. It is the first night of Muletown. That's true, Patrick. I'm hoping some of you guys are going to be there. I wish I could go, but just came up on me too quick. Didn't have time to plan. Really, Michael? $12.50. Wow. That's a steal. Yeah, we don't want any of that Bushmills, Doug. Absolutely. You think Perotti is made in Pennsylvania, Cellar? That would be odd. I'm sure, I'm not denying that. I don't know, but it's really odd that the first time I smoked it, I was in Italy and I'm from Pennsylvania. But it would make sense because it's very easy to find them here. Only if the local bishop allows it, Ed. Armchair Piper saying Catholics are allowed to eat meat on St. Patrick's Day. It's only if the local bishop allows it. And I don't know if our local bishop has, but I won't do it anyway. I'm not abstaining from meat on Fridays for the reasons that would require me to eat it on St. Patrick's Day. So I'll just leave it at that. Let's see. Texas Piper says Jameson, but he's been wanting to try Writer's Tears Irish whiskey. Tullamore Dew? It's good stuff. Kevin's saying Jameson is a Protestant whiskey. So you can taste the berry topping then, Everett. Yeah, I remember it being quite prominent, but not bad. Corn, cod, and cabbage. There you go, Flint Hill. That's true, Mrs. Yernick. We are a bit chaotic. That's fascinating, Doug. So they're actually made in factories in Pennsylvania. That is fascinating. I think it's hilarious that I found them in Italy. A long time ago, though. I don't think that Erengo broad tobacco is very good, Big Dave. Guinness chocolate cupcakes, oh God. I'm glad that. So one of the things that my grandmother was very proud of being Irish, and on St. Patrick's Day. So my mom obviously married someone with an Italian last name, and that really bothered my grandmother. Not to the extent that she, disowned her or anything, but it bugged her. And my mom she claimed she never did it intentionally, but very often in St. Patrick's Day when I was little, she picked out the clothes that I would wear, and we'd go visit my grandmother, and I'd be wearing a red shirt. And this drove my grandmother crazy because she viewed the red as, Italian, and, why can't you be wearing green like a good little Irish boy and stuff? So I'm glad I'm wearing the red shirt tonight, because that means I probably won't accidentally wear it next. I'll have to find a green shirt for next week. Eileen's dream would be a good choice for St. Patrick's Day. And now we're on to Irish topless dancers. Well, hey, we've been down worse rabbit holes on this show. Oh my goodness, and we're at time. I still have a fair amount of whiskey to go here, so a few more sweets. Yeah, Cole, I think it was intentional. And Patrick's going to be wearing green socks. Yeah, the orange would be worse, Michael. No, I think Patrick was actually Italian Roman, Doug. Could be wrong about that, but I won't hurt myself, don't worry. Big Dave, I think green eyes do count. It did fly by, Patrick, didn't it? Ah, that's true, Flint Hill. I guess Roman, British, yeah, yeah. He was one of those. Good point. Sorry, Doug. I forgot that Britain was quite Roman at the time. Yes, Gary, we're heading in that direction for sure. Who would you rather see as an Irish topless dancer, Marianne or Ginger? Big Dave has a green Irish yoga t-shirt with 3 passed out Irishmen. Big Dave, I think you should definitely wear that. Armchair Piper, you're going for Marianne tonight. That's a switch for you, isn't it? Oh, Michael. Hey, Cole, that's a good compromise there, buddy. No, Gary, Mrs. Howe is not a choice in this one. Armchair Piper is full on Team Marianne now. Got all sorts of people in Ireland, Yornik. All sorts. All good Irish people. I gotta get to Ireland someday. It's one of the places on my bucket list that I'd really like to go to Ireland. I'd love to go to Japan someday. I've been fortunate through my job to be able to see a lot of places that I probably wouldn't have seen, to travel quite a bit, but there's a couple places that I've never hit. I've never been to China, Japan, and Ireland, which I know is much closer, but I'd like to see it someday. Mrs. Howe was rich, Gary, but that means she doesn't need those dollars in her G-string. And now we've just become non-family friendly. Okay, Isabel, be good. Isabel's telling me show's over. Well, folks, let me share my last bit of whiskey with you. Only 2% of the world population has green eyes. That's fascinating, sailor. Hong Kong is awesome. I'll put that on the list, Mrs. Yornik. Doug went to Ireland back in '85, stayed in the southwest corner. There are palm trees? Really? Wow. Anyway, folks, I'm going to draw this to a close so I can go and see why Isabel's barking. I hope you all enjoyed the show. I really enjoyed having you here with me tonight. Been a great time and fun as always. So go off, have a fantastic weekend. I'll be back on Sunday with something or the other. And we'll get together next Friday and celebrate St. Patrick's Day in some manner. Don't expect much. Take care, folks. Have a great evening.